is Wong. I graduated from Melbourne Uni in Australia, and I specialize in accounting and finance. I got my chartered practicing accounting in year 2002. In InTune, I run the business development segment. I'm also a certified partner accounting running with my wife. My wife is actually the other partner that runs the firm.
My name is Lily Yong. I graduated with a corporate finance degree from University of Adelaide, Australia. My first job is with Ernst & Young, an accounting firm, for 5 years. Then I moved on to manage an internal audit department for an Australian listed company. I'm a member of Certified Practicing Accountant Australia and also a member of Malaysian Institute of Accountants. So in InTune, I am the managing partner. I take care of the sales, business development, and also overseeing the operations at InTune. So I've been a practicing accountant for the last 20 over years.
The company was started long time ago when I was still with KPMG. So during that time, I got a lot of friends who are having complication and stress when they run business. And most of their challenge is they cannot hire an accountant. So as a result, they always only hire maybe a clerk or an exec. A lot of time they have a lot of issues with their finance, payment, sometimes the money get lost, sometimes the accounts don't close in time, payment is not done in time. So that time when they wanted to hire me, then I was thinking, how are they going to pay me? Like if they were to hire me and I charge them 10,000 for SME, how can they afford me? So I went back and I think, and then one day I got this idea. This idea just popped up. If 5 of them combine, each one maybe pay me 3,000 a month, then I can serve 5 of them at one shot. I become like a HQ accountant to 5 of them. Then I can assemble a team to actually support them, and that's how InTune was formed. In terms of the company, our team structure is divided into sales and operation. So the sales is very simple. We serve our client by understanding their need, and then we provide them the solution. In terms of the operation, is divided into 2 segments currently. We have the finance, which take care of the day-to-day accounting for our client, from payment to preparing the financial statement. Another team that we have is doing the HR and payroll service to ensure that the day-to-day of the salary and remuneration, including compliance, are taken care of. As an accountant, as a service provider, we need to be able to sync along, tune into the processes of our client and customize. For example, maybe a manufacturing client would be very different from a trading client. So InTune means as a provider, we are tuning into their needs and requirements.
The vision of InTune is to be the leading finance and human resource outsourcing provider in Malaysia. In this vision, we want to create financially driven entrepreneurs and businesses who runs their business based on numbers, analytics in driving their business to their goals. The mission of InTune is to support every small medium enterprises becoming large by being their strong finance and HR pillars for their businesses. This means that we are providing them a team of knowledgeable professionals with strong processes and workflow to support them in their growth journey becoming large. There are 3 main types of services being provided at InTune. Number 1 is the finance, number 2 is the human resource, and number 3 is the consultancy. So in terms of finance, so what we do is that we do the everyday accounting and finance functions for our small medium enterprises clients, like preparing payments, even issuing invoice, official receipts, reconciling their sales collection on an everyday basis, up to giving them a financial dashboards and accounts every month, up to on a half-yearly basis to sit with them and review their financial dashboards, and at the end of the year to take care of their audit and taxes on their behalf. That's on the finance side. So the second type of service that we provide for our client is human resource related, which means we take care of their payroll. We make sure that the payrolls are calculated correctly, accurately, on time, and in compliance with all labor laws, EPF, SOCSO, etc. And then taking care of the leave for their staff and making sure that at year end, all the forms, all the compliance matters with Income Tax Office is complied with. So in terms of HR, we also assist our clients to issue HR related letters, like when a new staff come on board, to give them the employment letter, when they confirm, and if there's any increase in salary, bonus, we help them out with all those papers.
Good evening, everybody. Yes, it's the time again for InTune Freedom Series. What do we do in InTune Freedom Series? We support SME business to achieve freedom in their business. Good evening, gentlemen. My name is Alex Wong. I'm one of the co-founder and also a director of InTune Business Outsourcing. We're focusing on supporting SME in their finance and their HR related in order for our SME to become large. Our vision is for every SME to become large so that when you can focus on your business and leave the back end to us. So tonight, we will be talking to my colleague on HR matters again, and we're going to focus on staff management. Currently, staff is one of the most important commodity, or not to say commodity, one of the most important element in a business, because it's usually the people that runs the business. So in terms of managing them, we need to be able to have tools to manage them. So tonight I have with me my operations manager from HR. Let me get her in. Hi, Jocelyn.
Hello, Alex. Nice to see you again.
Yeah, tonight we're going to talk about staff management. So before that, I'll let you introduce yourself so that the audience know who you are and what you do.
Yeah, so I'm the senior operations manager. Senior as in become an asset of the company already, not a commodity. So I oversee the finance and HR departments, the operations, ensuring that all the compliance matters are met between accounts and HR. Yeah.
So, based on your experience, what are some of the common pains? We always hear our client, every day popping Panadol. What are some of the staff Panadols that they have been popping in all the time?
Okay, so the common ones are usually client does not know how to deal with staff behavior issues. Usually they come from a place where they say the staff should do this, must do this, but they don't understand from the staff point of view why is it not done. Sometimes they also have certain issues. The staff has certain issues why they cannot do it. So it actually just takes two-way communication, and then certain issues can be ironed out. Sometimes it's also no formal policies have been put in place, so staff also don't know what they can or cannot do.
I think
Yeah.
that's the main pain, isn't it? I think a lot of SME owners,
Yes.
they are always have this opinion that if I pay X amount and I hire this staff, they should know what to do, how to do, when to do, and it's coming from a lot of expectation. And I think with the new talents joining in, it becomes harder because they may be carrying a point of view during the time when they work. I remember speaking to one of the business owner lately. He said, that's how I've been working. That's how I hired, and that's what I know what to do. Then when I told them, but the staff are not you. You are born at
Yeah,
a working at a different time and place, and that
different
time.
generation also.
And I think at least most of the people in the Gen X, they are worker bee. They don't mind when you throw different function to them, and you can also say the Gen X are generally the worker bees, workaholic. So the long hours, loyalty is a big thing. Then
Yeah,
suddenly they met the Gen Y or the millennial where work-life balance, I want to know exactly what I want to do. I want to go home at this time. I want to have my life. I want to have my lifestyle. And I think that's when it's like, oh my God. And I think that's the biggest panadol in terms of, I would call it talent gap
yeah,
management.
yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So the next one is always about staff benefits. I think the younger ones compared to the older, they always compare. Hey, last time I don't have this. Then the younger one is like, we should have this. So these are also some of the things that has been going on. So how about your side? What have you been hearing from some of our clients?
Okay, so nowadays, other than salary, staff also ask about work from home benefits. They want to work from home, but certain jobs or certain positions is just not able to have this work from home culture. you know. Then sometimes staff also ask for traveling allowances, whether when they attend meetings or when they travel frequently, or let's say they have to work late, what kind of traveling allowance can they get? Things like this kind of benefits that they ask for. Uh, these are some of the questions that clients also ask me lah.
And I think
And
some of
then
them are valid. It's just that a lot of time, the bosses also scratching their head. How do I actually come up with a policy that work? Should I calculate their traveling if they are working from home? Some they no longer need parking. Do I take it away? Or they travel to the site. Some of the our client have a site which is from their home is just 5 minutes versus, or should they travel? They come from office to the site. And I think these are all the gray area that always make it very vague.
yeah, it's true. And
And
then
and I
on medical and hospitalization, now with the new Employment Act coming into place, um, medical leave used to be a part of hospitalization, but now it's going to be separated. So it's like 14 days of medical leave and 60 days of hospitalization, two separate things.
and it's always
Yeah.
evolving. And like I always tell business owner, labor office and industrial court will always want to protect employees first.
Yep.
So again, it's always about managing. Even with this COVID thing, until now they say, hey, now they just show a two line, they can take 5 days off without getting a medical leave. So this is also another issues with.
Yeah, so that is something that needs to be put in place, like in a memo or a policy,
Yeah.
because self-test kits are no longer valid. A lot of staff curi ayam lah.
Yes, yes. Yeah, in fact, we have, there are instances where some of our clients caught some of the staff, taking advantage of this just to avoid work, which make it a pain for those who are actually sick.
Yep.
So then I think that's where a lot of the fight happens. And yeah, another one is also working hours and overtime. When I travel, do I get replacement leave? When I'm in the car, some were asking, I'm working and then I'm traveling home late. Do I claim that an additional hour of overtime?
Yeah.
A lot of all these headaches.
But going to work or coming back from work is not considered overtime.
Yeah, correct. And I think sometimes without having a policy of understanding this, I think that's where it becomes very gray and it becomes a fighting scene between the talents and the employers. And I think that's where it get worse when they start to talk or compare. Like we have
Yeah.
certain clients which are having operation at two, three different operation, but they are based maybe at the same location, maybe their HQ, and they start to compare, like this division compared to that division, which sometimes is totally different,
Yep.
totally
So
different.
having set working hours and conditions for OT or replacement leave, having all this in an employee handbook really gives the staff assurance that the employer has interest in their welfare. You cover all the information that you can in one handbook to be given to staff.
Yeah, at least it will reduce ambiguity. Even between East Malaysia and West Malaysia, their Saturday, Sunday is Friday, Saturday. Their public holiday is different from
Johor
one state
also.
to another
Yeah.
state. So when certain businesses have operation in different state, then their public holiday is also different, and it will range from state to state and business to business. Yeah. So that also come into in terms of the conduct or the dress code. Yeah, and conflict of interest. Sometimes there's always this vagueness. How do we deal with some of these, especially conflict of interest?
Can you imagine conflict of interest if someone has a second job with the same functions as the main job? Wouldn't that already create conflict of interest? And there's no clear guideline. When does this person do the job, the second job or the first job?
Yeah, and I think if they declare it's not so bad, at least then the employer can choose whether to accept or not. I think the most obvious conflict of interest happen in they sometimes the employers do not want the employee to work in that field after they resign, which I think it become a bit out of context. Like if I'm always in this line, how can you tell me not to be in this line for 12 months?
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's also the, what do you call that? There are trade secrets, or there are certain knowledge that you don't want the information to be leaked out lah.
Yeah, and I think these are where some of the staff panadols are always happening. And of course, the next one is job roles, especially when, yeah, I remember even my old company where I used to work with, we have 50 over companies. So sometimes some people are being paid in company A, but they are actually overseeing company B, C, D, E, F, G, H. And some
Yeah,
by functions, some are by position. So in that sense, it can be very, very daunting when whoever I report to is not clear. I could be reporting to multiple business unit head, and I was a GM then. So it can be very, very challenging trying to do all the different reporting to different people. It can be a headache, especially when it's not written. It's like suddenly today, hey, we got one new business. Why don't you oversee that? And I think these are some of the headache that even a lot of SME are having up to date.
yeah. The line of reporting is so important.
Yeah,
The staff, sometimes there is cross-reporting, but they must know the main person that they are reporting to.
yeah.
In case there are any issues, they must know the main one.
Yeah. So we talk about a lot of some of these challenges, but just to sum it up, a lot of the time is actually due to weakness or lack of job description. A lot of time, there's a lot of assumption in terms of talent management by the employer when they hire the staff. So when it's not clearly specified or is very vague, it's like general. Usually in the letter offer also there and done line whatever given by the director from time to time. So it creates a lot of
And any additional task assigned to you by the
correct. So I
management.
I think that's where the ambiguity and the pain in management. That's where a lot of debate happen. Like this is not my role. That's your role. This is not my job. That's your job. Or that the blame. It creates a lot of unnecessary shuffling of responsibility and the blaming. Yeah.
Actually, if you look at it, if there is no job description, it creates a lot of duplicate or double work, also wasting resources. Maybe if the job description is crafted out properly, maybe it just takes one person to do the job. But sometimes when it's not done properly, then I feel that person is doing that much, already doing so much. So maybe need a second person to also do the same thing.
Yeah.
You
But I
know,
think that's also the challenge in it because SME owner don't actually know how to create this structure. So in their mind, especially the smaller one, they are always coming from one leg kick. Like I'm also the finance, I'm also the HR, I'm also the sales, I'm also the operation. So naturally, when they hire, they are context setting or where they come from in terms of hiring is also the same. Hence, when they hire staff, they are like a personal assistant. So they end up hiring a whole fleet of personal assistant with vague or no job roles, or is always based on verbal basis. Today I want you to do this. So then all the PA or the workers will move to that side and then just handle that thing. And then it changes from time to time. And I think sometimes when watching that, it's like watching Charlie Chaplin, running around up and down, going in the roundabout.
yeah, and the changes, all these verbal changes, nothing in black and white, and then it creates a lot of challenges for, let's say, for payroll. Um, you know, OT rates changing at the whims and fancies of the boss. And so end of the month, payroll doesn't know, and the HR department doesn't know, and they don't know what is the OT rate for this day or that site, or things like
To
that.
make it worse, the
So
OT rate is dictated by the same person, which is also the employers. So
yeah,
that's where the drama minggu ini become a Bollywood drama sometimes.
yep,
So yeah, and also we have talked about outdated or the employee handbook. Some employee are still referring to a handbook that's maybe 10 years ago, which so many things have changes, especially after the pandemic, and with
correct.
changes. Yeah,
Changes in the EA also, the Employment Act. So there are things that needs to be updated in the employee handbook if the company has one. There are also things to be updated in the offer letters. There
yeah,
are also processes to review. Many
true.
things happening. Come 1st January 2023, there's a lot of things that needs to be prepared before January.
And I think there's also the challenge because most employers are focusing on rebounding from the pandemic, and they are so focused on the business, they really don't have time to look at the changes in the Employment Act and all the nitty gritty. So sometimes they may hire someone who may not be competent in this area to look at it. And I think that's where a lot of times shit hit the fans, when they go to labor office or they go to industrial court, they realize that, huh? This is no longer relevant. And I think that's where a lot of time employers get caught in terms of talent management.
Yep,
So let's look at some of the case study.
yep.
So can you
Okay.
bring us through some of this case study that you prepared for our audience?
Yeah, so the employee handbook, this case was about 4 years ago. IT industry, they had 20 over employees. Majority were expats, meaning IT experts from India, South Africa. And the handbook that they had was um, a US version or something. So there was nothing to do with Malaysian law inside the handbook. And
Oh,
then whatever HR policies that they had were all verbal, verbal, verbal. And every now and then I will get an email asking, how do you do this, or why is this like that? And then the client had also attendance and punctuality issues because the working hours or even attending meetings were not clear, you know.
mm. So
Working hours.
how did we support them? I mean, how did InTune, what scope did we do to resolve some of this pain that our SME client has?
So after studying their US version of the handbook and then crafting out a Malaysian version and agreeing with the client, then we did a town hall with the staff, answering all their questions, and also uh, letting them know that certain things they cannot do, certain things they must follow. In Malaysia, punctuality is like this, being on time is like this. So after that was launched, things were much better in the office.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, and I think sometimes all this employee handbook is such a simple thing. I remember we talked about it in one of our freedom series as well. It's probably just 8 to 10 hours kind of job where we sit
Yeah,
down with management and then we just streamline some of the whatever in the Employment Act, whatever that's recommended, where our client can then choose and select what will fit into their industry, and then just document it now, and then have a town hall, and then just run through the handbook in general for all the staff, and then allow them to have a Q&A on some of the policy, so that at least they know this is it. This is the company, and this is how we run our business, and this is what we request from the staff, and these are the guidelines. Please follow. And if you have any question, come to us. Rather than A talk something, B talk something, C talk something, and then we have so many channel. In the end, we have from South Africa to India channel, and I think that's where the
no, the boss is so busy himself, he doesn't have time to go and address all these issues.
yeah. So
So
SME owner, if you are outside there and you are listening, this Panadol is not a big Panadol. This can be resolved with just a vitamin C. Just look for Intune. We are orange in color. One dose of vitamin C can solve a lot of these Panadols. Yeah.
yeah.
So let's go to case study number 2. Yeah, case
Okay,
study
case
number
study number two, also an IT company. They're brand new, had about 10 plus employees. Uh, the offer letters that they had, in fact, when they first started, we crafted out some templates for them to use. And then along the way, somebody added on something and then became few versions of offer letters. And
Okay.
then we discovered there's no termination clause in the one that they modified.
Oh my
Uh,
goodness.
yeah, and then there were also different benefits offered to the same executive position. So after we put our foot down, said please do not issue the HR letters on your own. Let us do it because uh, we only follow one template. We only maintain one template. We don't know what templates you have. So after that, things were much better.
I see. But anyway, coming to same executive position, they can have different benefits, right?
It's supposed to be the same, but in the offer
Oh.
letter it was not the same.
So the employer wanted it to be the same. It's just during
Yes,
execution, it mutated to a different version of the offer letter.
correct. Yeah, mutated.
And because they pandai, sometimes no termination clause. So when they actually want to terminate the staff, they have no basis of termination and they don't know how to handle it. So
Yes.
how did we support them to resolve some of all these things in terms of whatever they have been issued without termination clause, or those that are having different benefits? How do we actually streamline it for the client?
We reissued the offer letters and then had to sit down with the staff and go through the letters again, explaining the situation. And thankfully, it was just a handful.
Okay, okay. So yeah, so basically, if there is a misalignment, there's always an opportunity for the employer to actually go and talk to the employee. So I think this is what we call proactive HR management. If the employer screwed up, in the whole process, regardless of who screwed up, I think as long as the employer proactively takes steps to address the gap and actually go and talk to the talents, I think most of the time the talents, before issues come out, they would be more open to look at it and to agree to a new term. And once they sign the revised letter of offer that will supersede the rest, then the revised letter offer will then take precedent in terms of whatever that's going forward. Yeah.
Mm. Yep.
So based on that, how do Intune actually support some of our clients in terms of what we do, what are the scope of services that we do in terms of employment letter or job description?
For me, I will review all the offer letters, review if they have any employee handbook, review it. Yeah, basically take a look at all their policies, take a look at all their whatever HR letters that they have, because sometimes it could be crafted many years ago. It needs to be updated to the current situation or the current employment laws now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
And
in
certain
terms of
things
what
can be also simplified.
Yeah. So in terms of what we can do is, and any of the SME out there who watch us tonight, if they just want to have a scoping, like a medical checkup, so they can come to Intune and we can just do a basic medical checkup and provide them a simple medical report of where are possibly some of the area that they need vitamin C on, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for those of you who are listening out there, if you need a health check, you can just type in the message there, hash HR health check, HRHC, or if you want us to do a payroll health check or both, you can type hash PHC. Usually we charge 500, but because if you are viewer of tonight, anytime you type on our comment, it will be a no charge obligation fee. We'll give you a pre-diagnostic of your health check in terms of HR and payroll, and we'll tell you where are some of the risk area that you can work on. Yeah. So anything else before we end the session tonight? So tonight will be a short and sweet session.
Not at
Any
the
last word
moment.
for our
Yeah.
audience out there who are listening to us?
Um, Better to comply with the be in compliance than non-compliance, because non-compliance is a more expensive way to treat problems.
Yeah. Prevention is better than cure. Have vitamin C, come to InTune. Have a vitamin C rather than take Panadol. Long term taking Panadol is not good for your for your business health. So that's my closing statement as well.
Yep.
Okay, so with that, we end Freedom Series number 4. So those of you out there, know that if you're SME and if you're having pain in staff management, you're not alone. And there's always vitamin C. You don't have to go to Panadol. You don't have to have migraine and headache before. Come and talk to us. We are more than happy to you to send you a whole bunch of vitamin C. And vitamin C is not very expensive. So in InTune, our fee structure generally is about 30 to 40% cheaper than what you could do in-house, because we have a whole fleet of team here, 30 to 40 staff here, to support you from both your finance as well as your HR session. Yeah, very true. Yeah, Lily is our managing partner, vitamin C from InTune. So just look for the orange logo, and here we are more than happy to provide you the vitamin C. So thank you for joining us tonight, and if you have anything, you can always WhatsApp us as our hotline, and we see you soon in Freedom Series number 5. Good night,
Yeah.
everybody. I'll play a video on
Bye.
the way up. Bye.
InTune Outsourcing is providing you a full scope of accounting from A to Z, exactly like an accounting department with a CFO, but not based in your office. InTune enters supplier invoices into accounts payable and do reconciliation with suppliers to make sure that our records are correct. InTune also processes payments to suppliers, staff, and expenses, updating sales invoices into accounts receivable, including collection received, providing statement of accounts to clients so that they can collect and chase money from their customers, providing the financial reports, including but not limited to profit and loss, balance sheets, cash flow, debtors and creditors aging, advisory and financial coaching, including presentation of accounts, highlighting key areas and key analytics to improve and grow clients' businesses. At the year end, we represent our clients to work with their auditors and tax agents for compliance matters. InTune also represent our clients to deal with different bodies and agencies such as Income Tax Office, Customs Department, EPF, SOCSO, and other authorities for matters relating to finance, business, and HR. So if you're still facing accounting problems, you need a professional like InTune to help you. Well, get InTune to fine-tune your decisions.